Well, welcome to the Performing Arts Center. As has been the tradition for the past decade, the Morning News and Francis Marion University are delighted to welcome you here on Francis Marion Day at 11 a.m. Our purpose today, as it has been in the past, is to recognize this year's recipients of the Marion Medallion, a distinction awarded annually to those people across the Pee Dee who are recognized for distinguished service to the region. Over the years, there have been 26 men, women, and organizations who have received this award. I'd like to take time to recognize those folks and ask them to stand if they're present. I'd like everybody to hold their applause until we get finished. And I'm going to do this year by year, beginning again with 2012, the first year we initiated this process. 2012, Kathy Baxley, Henry Johnson, and Hayward King. 2013, Bill and Olive Timberlake and Ralph Porter. 2014, Henry Beatty and Clyde Odom and Henry Brunson. 2015, John and Vicki Kirby, Paige Alexander and Deanna Strickland. 2016, Carlos Washington, Manna House. 2017, Reggie Armstrong, Carl Harmon, and Courtney Graham posthumously. 2018, Billy Powers and Help for Kids. 2019, Chuck McNeil and the Parking Lot Ministry. 2020, Stephen Wakila and Alan Floyd, and 2021, Allie Brooks and Carl Humphreys. You know, the people on this list have been widely known throughout the region for their works of compassion and generosity, philanthropy, and for goodwill. One of the criteria for this award every year has been the obvious choice. That people would read the names of the Marion Medallion winners and say, of course, they should have received the medallion. And every year we've been successful, I think, in achieving that. The two women who will receive this recognition this morning represent the very same commitment to selfless service on behalf of their communities and to fellow South Carolinians as these 26 people that we named a couple of minutes ago. Now, it's my distinct pleasure and high honor to introduce the first recipient this morning. Florence has been our home for more than 4 decades. During that time, she's been a steadfast champion of the Pee Dee region, and her continuing contributions to this community through advocacy, philanthropy, and civic engagement has been an inspiration to everybody. But she grew up in a different place, on her grandmother's farm in Chesterfield County, South Carolina, in the small town of Jefferson. It was there she learned the values that would come to be reflected over the course of her adult life and to define her. The values of hard work, resourcefulness, a love of community, and a very strong affinity for other people. She was a valedictorian of her graduating class at Jefferson High School, and we can probably draw many conclusions about her later life from those experiences and accomplishments in that small South Carolina community a few decades ago. Number one, her advocacy for rural communities and the people who choose to live their life there. Number two, her passion for close-knit family structures that keep children together and grandchildren even closer together. And number three, her strong reliance on neighbors and friends to sustain and help each other, both in good times and bad. All of this carries over to our recipient's success in this community. Her service and charitable and philanthropic contributions to Florence and the Pee Dee are numerous. You know them. I don't need to recite them, but of course I am. Her commitment to public education through the School Foundation, and professional education in medicine and nursing and healthcare through her work with Francis Marion University and through a service on the MUSC Florence Board of Trustees. She was the founding chairperson of the Museum Commission and instrumental in the design of that building just across the way. She has served on dozens of other boards throughout the community, professional, civic, cultural, working to carry the same message of cohesiveness and collegiality across the region. No one in this community has worked more diligently at bringing this community together, not just through hard work, but through the sheer force of her personality. And everybody who's sitting here who knows her knows exactly what I mean by that. Her beliefs are pure and simple, and they focus predominantly on helping other people, especially those who aren't always in a position to help themselves. She's lived a life of service simply because it comes so naturally to her. It's ingrained in every fiber of her being. Of course, she had a great partner. Early in her working career, while selling furniture for Shelby Williams Industries, Jean stumbled across a Howard Johnson hotel that was under construction on Dorchester Road in Charleston. Interested in furnishing the hotel, she sought out the name of its owner and was referred to the project developer, a man from Florence. His name was Hugh Leatherman. In case you're wondering, she made that sale. And Hugh always liked to joke that it was the best sale she ever made. The pair were married in 1978, and the 43 years that followed were full of family and public service and the ever-developing love for this community. By the way, the chairman frequently told people that the one reason he was never defeated in that Senate seat was that Jean never ran against him. I'm just glad I never had to choose between the two. From a girl educated in rural South Carolina to an accomplished businesswoman who never forgot her origins, her duty and her responsibility, Jean has left her indelible mark of service and compassion on a very grateful community. It is my pleasure to present the first Marion Medallion of 2022 to Jean Leatherman. The podium is yours.
Now tell me, how do you follow that? There's been a couple of times that I've had to follow our president, and it is quite challenging, I will say. To all of you who are here today, to President Carter and Folly and the FMU family members that are here, all of you family and friends, thank you for being here. It's I got a wonderful surprise a few minutes ago when Sarah walked in, our youngest of the six. And thanks to Karen and Robin for being here, and many, many of you as friends. First of all, I am deeply honored to be numbered among these wonderful recipients in the past. Most all of them are known to each of us, and there are some wonderful accomplishments when you look at what's happened in our community and the work that all of us have done collectively. I'm humbled because I feel very unworthy to receive such a distinguished honor. But I want to tell you today how proud I am of Francis Marion University, how proud my family has always been of Francis Marion. President Carter and Folly have dedicated their lives to serving citizens in our area and our region. They have made people's lives better. Francis Marion is our anchor. It is our public university that changes lives one person at a time and one family at a time, giving them opportunities to work, to learn, to take care of their families, to be productive citizens and contribute to continuing to make this the best place to live in the world. I have had the privilege of being here and being married to Hugh Leatherman at a magical time. I've told President Carter that many times. It has been a magical time in our lives. Florence has flourished, but that's because of vision. It's because of leadership. It's because of collaboration and the right people at the right place at the right time, doing good things to elevate the lives of each of our people. Let me see if I can. I love it, and I know the children have heard it so many times before. Hugh always said, get a great education. No one can ever take that away from you. And they lived by that motto, and I'm so grateful that he helped all of our children get a good education. I'm also proud of our morning news. I tell people all the time, we still have a daily newspaper. We are so proud of them because we have local coverage of news and events and promotions of our community. We thank you, all of you at the Morning News, for being a great part of our community. You're promoting wonderful nonprofit groups each and every day, and you're telling the story of our wonderful people. That in the midst of one of the most challenging times for a business because of the technological changes. We all see those changes in our workplaces and in our lives. Everything has changed so much the last 15, 20 years, and we're very proud of your success in the midst of all these changes, and we thank you for being such a great part of our lives. Florence is a wonderful community to live in and to work in. We have been so blessed to live here, work here, serve others here, and in many ways, you all know that no one ever succeeds alone. We've had wonderful professional support. We've had great leadership, great vision. I always think that Hugh and President Carter had some of the greatest visionary ideas to grow the region and to expand our health care, expand our education opportunities, and make better lives for everyone. But I can't go without thanking my family and for their support, and all of you as friends, who call me and check on me and make sure I'm trying to eat something. And I thank you all for your love and your support. You've all just been wonderful, especially during the last few months. But my support team, all of you are there each and every day encouraging me. Our friends at Rotary, just being able to be together is encouraging and so helpful when we go through the good times and the bad times. My biggest encourager is looking down on us today, and he's smiling from heaven. He always encouraged me He always made me believe that I could do more than I was doing, sometimes when I didn't feel like I could quite make it. But he always was such a supporter. But this opportunity for life has been amazing. Thank you for this special recognition. It's very humbling, and I'm very honored, and I thank each of you for being here.
Thank you. The second recipient will be presented by my colleague, Matt Tranquil, from the Morning News.
I'm not sure why we had the president and Jean go before me. That was not right at all. I should have done first. My name is Matt Tranquil. I'm the president of the Morning News and Amplified Digital. Jean, just thinking and hearing what Jean just said, it's amazing. And I'm honored to know her and call her a friend. And, I think President Carter could have sat up here, or stood up here for probably 3 or 4 days talking about Jean and still not get everything that she has accomplished. So thank you, Jean, for being a friend, and thank you, Dr. Carter, for not standing up here for 3 or 4 days. Before I announce the next recipient, I would like to just say thank you to Francis Marion University. I'm not from the Pee Dee area, but I call it home now. I have been here for a little longer than a year. Communities our size do not usually have such an active, strong, academically and financially secured university. I want to thank John Srini for everything he does as a community from the communication vice president of the university, for he makes sure that the good news of the university makes it to the public eye. I believe John is probably in the back somewhere. Yeah, John's back there, so if you could give him a hand. Please, John, can you raise your hand? And of course, Francis Marion University would not be the university it is without my good friend, President Fred Carter. At first, I did not know how to take a person that has so much influence as President Carter. But within a very short time, I've realized that he is truly a gift to this community. I am privileged that he considers me a friend. Thank you, President Carter, for making this event happen. Let's give President Carter a standing ovation, if you would. And I'd like to thank my former editor of the Morning News and the author of a soon-to-be published book on Senator Leatherman, Don Counselor. He's here somewhere. I saw him also. Don, where are you, Don? Don, thank you for introducing me to President Carter. I really appreciate that, and you will always have a special place in this community's heart. Thank you, Don. I would also like to thank our current editor, Chris Day of the Morning News, for writing the following remarks for me, for it takes a lot to make me sound like I know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Chris. Chris is back there somewhere, too. Chris, yep. Our next medallion recipient has worked tirelessly to make the Pee Dee safer, more compassionate region since 1986. She has spent her adult life helping victims of crime and abuse piece their lives together and find justice. She is receiving the Marion Medallion today for her commitment to the victims of sexual, domestic, and child abuse, but will be the first to tell you this award belongs to every volunteer, employee, and supporter of the Pee Dee Coalition. She has spent her adult life helping victims of, she was there for the first Presbyterian Church in Florence in 1986 when the Pee Dee Coalition was incorporated, and has helped guide the coalition as it has expanded in operations from 3 counties to 8 counties. The Pee Dee Coalition mission is reduction of sexual assault, family violence, and child abuse, and to help the victims. Sexual assault, family violence, and child abuse are a community issue. They affect the total community. Women, men, service providers, and all who value the basic human desire to be free from physical threat and harm. The coalition is governed by a volunteer board of directors. County Pacific chapter boards support the board of directors by taking the local lead in resource development, public awareness, and site management. The organization is staffed by more than 70 full-time, part-time, and co-located employees throughout the Pee Dee region. It provides community victims assistance through 24-hour crisis intervention, operates alternative to violence programs, prevention education programs, children's center, as well as emergency and transitional shelters. The coalition is funded through local, state, and federal dollars, but also relies on financial and in-kind assistance from the general public. It is a member of organizations of 7 area United Ways or similar funding agencies. Let's recognize the work of the Pee Dee Coalition and this year's second Marion Medallion recipient, Helen Hamilton, Executive Director of Pee Dee Coalition. Ellen. Did I say Helen? Ellen. Ellen. Dr. Carter, you come up here.
I know you hate this.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
But you can't close it. She's doing a Don.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Carter knows, and Don knows too, I am not good at this. Now, I'm good at talking about a lot of things, but not this. But Dr. Carter, Matt, Don, thank you for recognizing the coalition's mission and 35 years of work in the Pee Dee. Gene, you and Senator Leatherman were supportive from the get-go. The senator was one of my early contacts, and if it hadn't been for you, I never could have participated in Leadership Florence, because we didn't have a dime then. It sounds trite to say that there is inadequate time to acknowledge all of those who've been instrumental in the progress of the coalition. I'd be remiss if I even attempted it. There were those in the beginning who were generous with their time and their space and tolerant, at least to my face, of the persistence and relentless push for change. And those of you all that know the former Sheriff Billy Barnes, just ask him. Victim survivors and their friends and family, legal, criminal justice, mental health, social service, healthcare, and educational leaders were all part and parcel of the birth of the coalition and its mission and philosophy. Now, April 1st of this year will mark the 35th year of the coalition's 24-hour crisis line and on-site response to hospitals in multiple counties. And at that time, I believe there were 8 hospitals in the 3 counties. And that was through the efforts of trained volunteers. And I remember well a doctor's wife who was one of our volunteers in Lake City. She was on the mobility calendar and was going to Hartsville to be with a rape victim or domestic violence victim. So it's a dedicated group. It was our intention and the consensus of those from multiple counties who came together for that first regional meeting in July of 1986 at the First Presbyterian Church here in Florence to have a regional organization. So we started out regionally from the get-go that addressed prevention as well as victim services for 3 critical areas: child abuse, sexual assault, and domestic violence. And fortunately, the Department of Justice under Attorney General Edward Meese in the President Ronald Reagan's administration had in populations and underserved victims of crime. And over the years, we were able to secure funding generated by federal fees and fines from white-collar crime to ensure that every county in our 7-county service area had basic crisis intervention and advocacy services. We've tried our best to be innovative, resourceful, good stewards of our donors' dollars, and to lay the groundwork for the future, knowing that sexual assault, child abuse, and domestic violence are widespread social problems that have been and unfortunately will continue to be experiences that occur far too frequently. Whether it's conducting a self-defense class for women and girls, focusing on the impact of witnessing or experiencing violence and abuse on boys, teaching compassion education and violence prevention through the use of rescue dogs in a middle school classroom, exploring the expansion of domestic violence offender intervention to include frontline response at a time of arrest, ensuring child abuse forensic medical services are available and convenient, or partnering with our colleges and universities, Francis Marion was one of our first, to promote campus safety. We'll continue to put our vision at the forefront of our community work to make, through all of our programs and services, the PD a safer, more compassionate community in which to live. So on behalf of all our staff and our county chapter boards and our board of directors, our donors, and all that we have taught, assisted, sheltered, supported, or influenced, we're grateful and appreciative of this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen. Well, it's my job, Dr. Carter told me at the beginning, to thank you for coming. And once again, you know, Ellen and Jean, I don't think we could have picked a better pair for this year's recipient. You're more than welcome to stay and congratulate the winners afterwards and talk among each other. And this concludes our event. Thank you.